What's up, family? Welcome back. It's been a minute, but we're live in the Good Life Studios. And as always, if you want to live a good life, you got to do the work. So let's get to work. I've been taking a little time off to think about what it is I want to do with this relationship that we're building here on YouTube, and how I really want to make sure that I'm not coming off as the person who has it together, because that's not really the truth. That's not the question. That's out of the question, rather. The fact of the matter is that I'm a man who's committed to relationship, not just with my wife, because I know I've talked about marriage a lot lately, but I'm committed to relationship with people, hence why I do what I do. It's why I'm a barber. It's why I'm a preacher. But more importantly, it's why I choose to be a friend to people. And this has been an attempt, at least in my mind, this is an attempt of me extending my friendship with people broader than just who my hands can touch, but to get to who the internet can touch. And we know that the internet is infinite, and the reach of the internet is infinite. And so it is my hope that by me sharing my thoughts and sharing ideas, that we can come together as friends and talk about things that matter to men, and that we can develop as men together, and that we can challenge each other. One of the things that I've always loved is playing ball. I've loved playing sports ever since I was a kid. And the thing that I loved the most was that I didn't have a brother. I didn't have any other boys living in the house. I have one sibling. I have a sister, and although she's formidable, she's a lot to handle. She's my sister, and I didn't have brothers, and so I've always looked to being a part of a team, whether it be football, baseball, track, debate. I was in ROTC in high school. I pledged my fraternity in college, and I'm still close with my line brothers and my chapter brothers and my fraternity brothers to this day. I've always done things that have put me in spaces that allow me to develop deeper bonds with men in an attempt to develop myself as a man. Even when it came to joining the fraternity that I'm a member of, one of the guiding questions was, are the men who've historically raised these fraternities to prominence the type of men I want to become? And so that's why I joined the fraternity that I'm a member of. And this isn't about me by my frat, but this is about us developing a relationship with one another that allows us to grow and become the type of men that we truly want to be, or at least that I believe I want to become. And I hope that by you watching this video, it's proof that you want to become this type of man as well. With that in mind, the type of man I want to be is a godly man. I want to be a man of faith, not, a lot of people throw man of God in their bio, and they throw a random scripture up there that they probably haven't read in 3 years, but they learned it 1 year. It sounded good. They got it tattooed, and so they put it on Instagram or whatever the case may be. But I want to become a man of faith. I am a man of faith, and I want to connect with other men of faith, and I want to challenge other men and be challenged by other men. And I want to do what scripture says, that iron sharpens iron as one brother sharpens another. And so that's what this is about. And I recognize that off the rip, I came out challenging and making very strong statements, which I will continue to do, because that's just who I am as a person. I have very strong opinions, and I root my thought in what I believe scripture to say and how I see society moving. But I don't want to only say what I think. I want to hear and see what you believe, and come to some mutual understanding of how we can get better together. I truly believe that good things happen when we come together. I don't believe that I can become the best version of myself, nor will you become the best version of yourself if we do it isolated. I truly believe that there's greatness to be found when we get together and we challenge each other. With that in mind, I was thinking about this verse in Proverbs. It's Proverbs 18:24, and we historically know it when we're kids, and we're told that if we want to have friends, you gotta be a friend first. And it reads in the King James, "A man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer to a brother." And I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, I really want to make sure that the men that gather around me are the type of men who embody this idea of pulling another man in, who we don't want to isolate people, but we want to encompass the idea of brotherly love, that we want to truly generate so much love from within ourselves that it causes other men to want to come and join us. And then this is going to allow us to create long-lasting bonds and relationships inside of this group that we can then nurture and incubate from within, that allows everyone to grow. The interesting thing about this is that I told you I read this in the King James Version. And this year, I've been challenging myself to read the Bible in more updated translations of Scripture. And so it made me start where I've been reading that mostly this year, in the New Living Translation. And this isn't a Bible study. This is a thought, though, about what it truly means to be a man and to be a brother to other men. Okay? When I read this scripture in the New Living Translation, it says, there are friends, in quotations, there are friends who destroy each other, but a real friend sticks closer than a brother. So then it made me think, why is it that the New Living Translation sounds so different from the King James Version? So I went and grabbed another version. The Amplified Version says, a man of too many friends, choosing indiscriminately, will be broken in pieces and come to ruin. But there is a true loving friend who is reliable and sticks closer than a brother. See, there's this idea in the second half of this verse that seems to be consistent throughout. Even when I read it in, this one is the English Standard Version, it says, a man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. I've read it through 4 different translations here. And one thing is consistent, that there is a friend who's going to stick close to a brother. The thing that changed was, what does it mean to be friendly? I don't want to be someone who I just gather everyone to me, who I just let any and everybody in my circle. But I do want to be somebody who has a circle to invite people in. I don't want to be somebody who lives on an island isolated, but I do want to be somebody who, when I find an island and I identify it as a safe place for me, that I invite the people who I believe can be safe with me on that island. I don't want to be isolated from the world, nor do I want the world to be shut off from what I have to offer. I want to be the type of friend that Proverbs 18 talks about, that I don't have too many friends, but I have enough friends to affect change in the world. I have enough friends to affect change in my community. I have enough friends to affect change in my neighborhood, in my church, in the barbershop, in the grocery store, in the gas station, the Little League team that we may volunteer for, or in the fraternities that we're a part of, or in the civic organizations that we're a part of. I want to multiply the influence that I have by being influenced by others and by influencing them. And so I say all that to say that I can't be the person who has all of the answers. Although I want to be, it's not possible. It's not possible that Ryan can have the answer for every question. Now, I can have an answer, but it doesn't mean it's the right one. And that's a truth that I've been having to come to grips with, that, Ryan, you're not always right. And that's okay. But Ryan, you do have an opinion, and it needs to be shared. And so going forward, I'm going to continue to share my opinion. I think I've been hiding from sharing my opinion because I didn't want to argue with people online who don't even have a profile picture, and I won't. I refuse. If you don't at least have a profile picture, I'm not arguing with you online. Thank you for your comment, and we're going to go forward from there. But I do want to invite men especially, but women as well, to come and challenge the thoughts that I'm sharing. That way I can grow, but more importantly, so we can grow, so we can become better together. I recently taught a message that says good things happen when we come together. And the central idea of it is rooted in Hebrews 10:25 that says we shouldn't do like some people and forget to come together, because when we come together, we finally begin to understand the value that we have intrinsically in ourselves, but then we learn the value of the community. And without community, nobody can get to the top, because what is there to be on the top of if there's no community? I truly believe that there's somewhere that we're going at as a society, and right now it's on a downward slope. Men aren't being men anymore. Not the type of man that I decided as a teenager I wanted to become. And although that ideal of manhood may seem antiquated, it may seem out of date, that ideal of man is one that I believe is timeless. A man who's grounded in faith, a man who's chivalrous, a man who is determined to provide for himself and his family, a man who holds honor and loyalty amongst the top qualities for himself and for those who will call themselves his friend. A man who will stand up for people who are being pushed down. I want to be that type of man. I believe that I've become and I am becoming that type of man. And if that's you, I want this to be the space where we have those types of conversations, where we have that type of discord, where we have that type of interaction, where we challenge each other in that way. Not arguing about petty stuff, because children argue about petty things, but men have conversations that sometimes get heated, but we have conversations that lead to change in the world. It's my hope that the strong opinions that I have will be welcomed by the open minds that you have on the other side of this screen. And it's my goal to receive your opinions on this side, and that we engage together in conversations that say, how can we become better together? Because I truly believe this thing, most importantly, that if there are enough of us who say we're going to develop a standard of what manhood is supposed to look like in our community and in our culture, and we stand firm on it, it'll change the way the future looks for the men who'll come behind us. And they'll have something to look up to and not run from. It's my hope that we become men who are discriminate about who our friends are, like we see here in Proverbs 18. Because the wrong friends, the wrong conversations, the wrong groups can tear down the fabric of manhood and masculinity and what it means to be a man of faith, a man of God. But the right friends sharpen you. And when we're sharp, we're dangerous. And sometimes it's good to be dangerous. It's like the old proverb says, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. I want to be the warrior in the garden. So I need other warriors who aren't afraid to come into the garden or the calm place and sharpen our axe, sharpen our swords, sharpen our skills. That way, if we ever have to be in war, we know a few good men who we can count on, who can hold the standard of what manhood really is. There's going to be a friend who sticks closer than a brother. And as much as possible, I offer my hand in friendship to you through these types of conversations, through this place of conversation. Because I truly believe that the good life is lived one day at a time, one relationship at a time, one conversation at a time. And that we're going to grow together, that we're going to do the work together to live the good life. And that this is a life that we can all live if we all pitch in to live it together. So with that, I look forward to doing more with you, to doing more life with you, to not only going wide with our friendships, because we can have a lot of people who we know, but going deep with our friendships, developing a very particular level of intimacy with one another that invokes close bonds that aren't easily broken. So until next time, I love you. This is the Good Life Studios. I'm your brother and I love you. And until next time, peace.